How you doing, guys? Big mate Danskull here today, back once again with another orc video for you. Today we're going to be getting weird. So, what could I mean by getting weird? Well, of course, we're going to be taking a look at my Weirdboy. I've got another Games Workshop Weirdboy in a box somewhere, or in the blister somewhere rather. It's actually the Age of Sigmar one. A lot of people, a lot of orc players don't really like the Weirdboy sculpt for the 40k orcs, so they look for alternatives. And 6+ Stevo did a video not too long ago about a miniature he uses as a Weirdboy. I can't remember what company he got his from, but check out his video, check out his channel and find that video if you want to know more about that one. This one is from Avatars of War, which is a company that makes role-playing miniatures for role-playing games, fantasy miniatures. I'm not sure if they actually make sci-fi miniatures, to be honest. This is the only miniature of theirs I own. I'm not too familiar with the range other than this miniature. But it was one that drew me in when I was looking for an alternative to a Weirdboy. So I'll bring you in for a closer look and then you can see what you think. So you can see the Weirdboy close up in front of you. Why did I choose this Weirdboy as opposed to the Games Workshop Weirdboy? Well, the Games Workshop Weirdboy he's just that, he's weird. He's got a little grot attached to him on a chain, and the chain's at all sorts of odd angles, and that's why I don't like the Games Workshop one, and a lot of people don't like the Games Workshop one. I hope that's a model that gets a redo in plastic in the not too distant future. However, in the meantime, we can always use alternatives, so long as we're not playing in Games Workshop stores, and maybe some Games Workshop stores might let you play with third-party miniatures, but officially the company doesn't let you do that. So, this Weirdboy, what appealed to me about him? Well, I liked the sort of shaman or shaman look he's got. He just looks like an old fantasy sort of mage or shaman just walking through the woods with his crook, his staff that he uses as a walking stick as much as a way to channel the war energy. It's not the best paint job I've done on him. I'll probably repaint him at some point in the future. The base as well, you'll notice, is a bit weird. It's the theme of the video really, isn't it? This weirdness. But I'll be redoing the basing as well in the future. I'm redoing the basing on all of my orcs, and this one is probably one that I'll definitely redo completely. I did like a Martian Iron Earth base, but because he's got an orange cape, it takes away, for me, it takes away from the miniature, although it is noticeably different. So I may find a way to work in some Martian Iron Earth there, but some of my orcs are going to be orange, and I feel like it sort of takes away from the miniatures on the bases. However, the basing idea is just supposed to be like war energy is sort of enabling him to lift the ground up beneath him, moving himself across the battlefield, albeit at a slow, unsteady pace, and he's got no real control over it. It's just kind of a feeling that he gets. Orc psychic powers are supposed to be raw energy and hard to harness, and often Weirdboys' heads will just explode randomly, and boys around them will just explode randomly. So I wanted to give him that sort of feeling by doing the base the way I did. It's like just a raw energy where it can be really powerful and really devastating. However, it's not exactly easy to harness. So this Weirdboy ended up on a base like this. It's just if I went a bit lower, you'd be able to see, but it's just basically a paper clip coming up from the base through these bits of cork and into the bottom of the miniature itself. Because the miniature comes on a slotter base when you originally get it, but I clipped that off so I could put it on a 32mm base. I preferred the size. Anyway, back to the miniature itself. Yeah, he's got this mage sort of look, and he's got all human hands, or maybe elven hands, Eldar hands strapped to the back of him. And he's just sort of going across the galaxy, collecting things that he thinks helps him channel. This is obviously lore in my head because it's an Avatars of War miniature, it's a fantasy miniature at the end of the day. But in my head, he is like an old school mage sort of character. He goes across the galaxy, picking up trophies and totems and stuff, and just adding them to his chains that go across his back, and to his staff as well. They're powerful enough. And he has bandages on his hands that just hide the scars from the blast of raw war energy that he shoots out of his fingertips and out of his eyeballs. I did try, this is like one of the first times I've tried it, but I've tried like a psychic sort of glow around his eyes and on his hand, and it's alright, but I don't think I've achieved it perfectly, so I'll probably repaint this guy at some point, like I said. Yeah, the miniature overall is just more my style, more a flavour that I can get behind. The GW one is just a bit too kooky looking. A lot of people, Orcs used to have a far more comedy vibe than they do now. In, I think, the 4th edition codex, they had rules where Storm Boys would just shoot off randomly in different directions and potentially die. And they had all sorts of weird kooky rules like that, but now they're more of I feel like the less comic relief and more like of a serious grimdark threat to humankind in the galaxy and to the Imperium and to all the other races that they encounter, really. So I like that this miniature doesn't have the same sort of kooky, comedic, bulging eye look that the Games Workshop miniature has. Like I said though, there are other miniatures from Games Workshop. I've got one from the Age of Sigmar range somewhere. I think it's upstairs in my gaming room. I've got that, and I will at some point start using that as a Weirdboy as well. This one I've used in game once. I've only ever played 3 games of 8th edition, and I used this in the game to great effect using the jump. But I don't know an awful lot about tactics, but even I managed to use a Weirdboy reasonably well to reasonable effect. So I think they're quite effective in game if you use them the right way, with key units, getting key units moving about the table, if you're using powers like the jump. I wish you could take more, I wish they had more psychic charge, psychic powers, psychic pool. I can't remember the rules for psychers in the game, but I wish they were able to cast more powers, basically is what I'm getting at. I wish they were able to cast more powers in a turn. You could take more powerful Weirdboys perhaps, but with Orc psychic energy being the unstable beast it is, it's like a bestial form of psychic energy. With it being like that, it totally makes sense in the rules to have them with only a few psychic powers, 1, 2 max. But yeah, it's an interesting one for me, that at least they get psychers. Some armies out there don't get psychers, and I like a sort of an untamed psychic army. I'm going off on a tangent now, so let's get back to this miniature and the Orcs in particular. Yeah, I like the idea of raw psychic energy being harnessed, being channeled through the staff and the copper in the staff. I've done it as like a wooden staff though, but it's, in my head it's got like a copper core to it that enables the Weirdboy to channel the psychic energy. That's pretty much everything for you. I've got not much else to say about this, but this one just drew me in because of the overall look, the sort of wise travelling mage look. I liked the feel of it. I can imagine him jumping on a freebooter ship just to hop across the galaxy from battle to battle, from war to war. And of course he'll be joining Danskull's war, the Great War, and everything is going to go off amazingly, and Orcs will rule the galaxy. But that's all I've got for you. I've got no waffle left in me, I don't think. Before you go, don't forget to give the video a like if you've enjoyed it. Any questions you've got, you can ask in the comments below. There's a button here for you to subscribe if you've not already done so, and a Patreon link here if you'd like to support the channel. There's also a couple of videos here for you to check out at your leisure. Thanks very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the battlefield.